You ever watch an anime for the vibes? Gachiakuta is apparently the right way of saying it, and I gotta say it right because my dream is to be Japanese. It's one of those anime that just oozes personality. The grimy, grungy world is so noxious you can almost feel it permeating through your screen. The characters are lovable, expressive, yet flawed at the same time, and the power system? It's one of a kind. A system that allows you to breathe life into objects the more you care for it. It can turn an umbrella into a drill. A paintbrush can draw spells. A pair of scissors turn into bigger scissors. It makes me glance around my desk for the first thing I see. What would my instrument be? A mouse? A phone? A bottle of water? It's crazy the amount of combinations you can think up. Who thinks of this? Once, in a fit of anger, I broke a pen that I was very fond of, and I cried a lot because I was so attached to it. From that moment, I decided to explore the meaning of value, objects, and broken things. That's how Gachiakuta was born. This was taken from an interview with Kei Urana, the creator of Gachiakuta, and it's here where I realized how much of this person's life, art style, and personality bleeds into their work. Let's take a look at the world. A child throws away her precious bunny doll the nanosecond it gets torn, as her mom tells her they'll get a new one. Her robotic expression shows just how little she cares for the thing. Moments later, our main character Rudo rummages through heaps of trash, finding that same bunny. He gets caught and shot at from every angle, risking his life for literal garbage, barely escaping their clutches. This is when we find out the world is divided in two: the spotless, clean, pristine side, and the first time I went to New York City. Such a divide exists because the royals decided to exile all the criminals to one side, having their descendants pay the price for their sins. They keep their noses clean, they might be able to leave. If they don't, they're thrown into the pit along with the rest of the trash. Rudo, after narrowly avoiding death, gets framed for killing his adoptive father after a masked man murders him. This kid cannot catch a break. They bring the boy to the pit where he spots the perpetrator, and just as they're about to end Rudo's life, this is where the real story begins. After miraculously surviving, Rudo meets Engine, the umbrella guy, where he finds that there is an entire civilization living under all their crap. 99% of the story takes place here and is the proving grounds for the author's creativity. One thing I found interesting was that Urana thought of the world first before coming up with the story.
こういう感じのなんか世界描きたいなっていうのを考えてて、でそれを物語に組み込めるように。
Which tells me that a large emphasis was placed on world building, inviting the audience to immerse themselves in life down in the pit, and for the most part, it worked. We first step into the city where we're hit with bright neon lights from every corner. Immediately, it feels wrong. You'd think a world covered in trash would not look like Hong Kong, but here we are. Next, we're taken to the cleaner's base. Graffiti plasters the walls and you think, huh, that's pretty cool. Until we learn that there's an entire city dedicated to graffiti where the whole point is for people to express their creativity without restriction, using all forms of media available to them, from paintbrushes, paint buckets, spray cans, and the lot. It's insane. While the sphere is dichotomized into two strict shades of black and white, the ground, the pit, is bursting with color. Ironically, the place that has everything is depicted as bland and boring, while the place that has nothing feels abundant and is bustling, cementing the author's message of finding value in trash. The pit feels alive, and it's no small thanks to the work of Gachiakuta's other innovator.
グラフィティデザイン担当の安藤です。
Hideyoshi Ando is the other half that gives life to Gachiakuta.
漫画自体は自分が作ってるんですけど、絵だけで表現したい時とかにグラフィティ入れてほしいなとか、その時に当てはめてみたらかっこよくね。
It turned out to be one of the smartest choices Urana would ever make. Not only did bringing Ando add color to the world, it added a whole new layer of personality. Each sign, each wall, each poster, each building was meticulously drawn by Ando, giving what he believes will best elevate the vibe of the scene.
もう元も子もないんですけど、ノリなんですよ。2人ともガチャクタをなんとかかっこよくしたいっていうところから始まってるんで、ガチャクタと向き合ったから出来上がったものは ぱいありますね。
And the product of simply doing what they thought was cool is a world that feels like its own character. Speaking of characters, Rudo was apparently modeled after Urana.
ルドはちっちゃい頃の自分をイメージしてるっていう感じなんですけど、なんかいろいろやってみたりみたいな感じのがあったんで、そのなんか未熟さの参考に自分がなるかなと思って、ルドにそれを当てはめて、どんどんその彼が成長していく過程を描いてるという感じです。
I'm sure this isn't the first time an author based a character on themselves. Look at Rent a Girlfriend. But it's this little tidbit that gives Rudo this sense of humanity, and I think that's shared among all the characters. They don't act like puppets strung up to do their master's bidding, they're also flawed in their own way. Rudo has a tendency to crash the fuck out. On more than one occasion, he gets dangerously close to killing someone in his fits of rage. And it's easy to assume Urana just wanted to make an edgy character, until you realize the kid is 15, shamed by his own tribe for being the son of a serial killer, had his only role model killed right in front of him, had the girl he liked abandon him, and saw his father's killer leave scot-free. You gotta understand, there is no League of Legends in this world. He can't just spam slurs to get rid of his anger like any other 15-year-old. That moment of weakness humanizes him. Zanka, despite seeming wise and mature, is extremely egotistical, to the point that it endangers his own life because he wanted to look cool. It sounds stupid, but come on. We've all done things purely to impress other people. Then there's Rio, who just broke the #1 rule of anime fights. That scene was so cold. I'm sure she'll have more introspectiveness later, but for now, she's just a badass. It's funny cause Urana didn't even intend for them to be like this. When I'm thinking up characters, I create them to be decent people, but then I actually draw them and for some reason, they turn out to be freaky weirdos. I've given up. This is who they truly are. Power systems are kinda ruined for me. Nowadays, it feels like we're ditching the whole system part and just having powers. Is that a hot take? Point is, it's been a while since I've invested in a power system. What I love about Gachiakuta's power system is that it's so deeply connected to the character. You look at someone's instrument and wonder what led them to choose this particular object. Why does Engine have an umbrella? Why did Zanka pick a staff? Why did Rio choose scissors? What happened in their lives that made this the thing they poured their memories, their pain, and their hope into? Every instrument is like a journey to uncover a character's story. And what's crazy is that two people can theoretically share the same instrument. Think about it. There is a world where two dudes could have the same pair of flip-flops they really care for and use them in totally different ways. One guy could grow up in Australia and use the souls to protect them from poison, while another guy could grow up in Asia and use the souls to beat their children. We all have different experiences, and Gachiakuta is a reflection of Urana's experiences. If that precious pen hadn't broken, who knows how different this story could have turned out. What would seem like a mundane and unremarkable event to you or me became a career-defining moment for Urana, something deeply personal only to them. Just like how Urana was attached to that pen, the characters develop powerful bonds with their seemingly ordinary items, using them as extensions for their emotions, their memories, and their struggles. The same can be said about the art. The graffiti isn't just a means of decoration, but a statement. A statement to the people above that no matter how many times they try to bury the pit in trash, the people underneath will always find a way to survive. And each spray of paint, each wall covered in color, is a beaming voice waiting to be heard.